Let's play. What's up, guys? Mars here with episode 44 of my Minecraft Let's Play series. I actually did a really funny thing. I filmed an entire video on a different world. I. Oh my god. So, it's been a long last few days. I got sick over the weekend. Wah, that kind of thing. So, that's where I was. I wasn't working on Minecraft at all. And, I signed on to a different world, my 2015 world, which I will show off at the end of 2015. uh, Signed on, did about 20-25 minutes of work in that. Realized right at the end that I was working on the wrong world, so now I have to refilm it, but on my actual world. In the last episode, we were building a land bridge over to my outpost, so we'll continue to work on that, and I will just sort of talk about whatever. Um, as the video goes on. So now I realize that anything I talked about in the last video is basically nullified. As you can see, again, I have not done any work whatsoever. Go me. Let's go ahead and just rush all of that. I'm not in CivRev, never mind. Most of you don't even know what CivRev is. Anyway, moving on. We're going to continue with our land bridge here. Why I cut it off there, you'll see in a second. So, how have you guys been doing? I'm kind of a wreck at the moment. I'm trying to get the videos together. It's now 9:11. Not even kidding. It's 9:11 tonight, and I only got a few hours before I gotta upload this, and I gotta get on Skype with somebody. I got a busy life, but I wanted to make sure I got this out to you guys. Sort of be like, hey, I'm still alive. A lot of stuff's happened. Let me go over all the stuff, shall I? As always, I try to review my life and whatnot. Last Thursday, I believe, is where I left off here. So, last Thursday was a review session for AP Comparative Government and Politics, which is a class I'll be mentioning a lot more. That was UK specific. UK is one of the three countries you study in that course. Of course, United Kingdom. We study Russia, China, and then we're about to get on to Mexico, Nigeria, and finally Iran, I believe is the order. And we're going to be tested on those 6 countries, also comparatively, by the end of the year. Sounds easy? Sure as heck is not, but it's really, really fun. Why that's important? That'll come up later. Friday. Friday was the last day before exams. I gave my first block teacher her thank you card. My third block teacher will be getting his thank you card hopefully soon. I still have to finish it. Third block teacher is obviously forensics, so that amazing individual. Who deserves much more than a card. Just with the amount of stuff he's put up with, and just the amount of stuff he knows, and the amount of knowledge he's given us, and the help that he's given us, and all of that. But let's see, what else happened Friday? Went out to Chile. Went out to Chile. Chili's a food. Went out. Wow, I am really hungry, I guess. Went out to a local restaurant. Sorry, sorry. I apologize. A local restaurant is not called Chili. Although you can buy chili at McDonald's. I would not suggest it, though. I've never actually had the chili at McDonald's. If someone could comment and see how that is, I'm kidding. I don't actually like chili. Well, I've never had chili. No, I've never had chili. Huh. I would be screwed in prison then. Apparently, when SpongeBob goes to, or Miss Puff goes to prison, and all they have there is chili. What's on the menu tonight? Chili or something like that. One random guy would always walk up. Anyway, that was fun. We spent a good few hours there this time. Me and some people, we had some serious conversations, but also some really fun conversations. It's a really awesome group of people. They're all from marching band, and it's just a really nice thing that we've sort of molded into a bit of a tradition. So it's really nice that we do that, and I obviously care a lot about those people. See, this weekend I was obviously sick, so I didn't really do much. Texted a lot of people though. It was really nice. Hello, zombie. I am asserting my dominance over you, sir. Die. Die. Now you're above me. Die. Die. Alright. I have asserted my dominance over the undead. Okay. What I love is, over the 4 minutes that I've been filming this video, he came up! He sprouted! No, I'm kidding. That just sounds weird. So should I build the path into the channel? Or should I just... build over land? Yeah, that makes more sense. But yeah, so that was my weekend. Being sick, that sucked. That really, really sucked. Like people are already apologizing, like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I got you sick." No, it was just me being an idiot. I, of course, I've always had an amazing immune system. It's never failed me until just now. Um, so over the past few days, I've been taking this Alka-Seltzer stuff just to sort of stop it. I don't want to take anything serious because I'm sort of one of those people that's like almost not really afraid of medication, but I know how easily you can get addicted to it. There's this one girl in my band who plays bassoon now, I think, and she just constantly talks about pain meds. And she's not addicted to it. She's way too mature for that. But every other word I seem to hear out of her is that. And so I just keep that in the back of my mind. Of course, she'll remain nameless, as most of the people do in these videos. She definitely wouldn't want her name on this channel anyway. That'd be really bad for her, I think, because she's not exactly one of those people that's like the biggest fan of me. So none of the people in my school are. Like that's the weirdest thing to a lot of my internet friends is they're like, "How are you not popular at school?" And she's like, "I'm just not. I'm just one of those quiet people that like sits in a corner and like slowly plots how to kill everybody." I'm kidding. Um, but not a lot of people bother to figure out who I really am, and then those people who do bother to figure it out are genuinely rewarded with someone who just doesn't stop caring. And, that whole thing, and that sort of goes back to my whole theme of caring about other people. Um, having the idea that these videos comfort people, even when I can't comfort them myself. All of that. Speaking of comfort, there was someone who stayed after with us, or with me, for AP CompGov, short for AP Career Government Politics. She's a really smart girl, actually. And after our whole sort of tutoring session / review session was done, we were walking out. The Affordable Health Care Act had been brought up in the conversation, along with Obama and sort of his other policies. And I had actually gone back into my AP CompGov textbook, and it talked about American politics a little bit. And it was basically saying, oh, with Obama specifically, he's enacted a lot of legislation in the past few years because he had, what did it say? He had Democratic House and Senate in 2008 and 2009, I think. But then it got voted out in 2010 because of something or other. I think he just barely lost the majority, I think it was what it was. And then from there, he sort of fell into disarray. But then now it's launching back again because we can't agree or something like that. Anyway, the Affordable Health Care Act was brought up. I asked her afterwards, does it offend her when people call it by its, alleged nickname Obamacare? And as I assumed, she said yes. And it's not exactly Obama's. Like that's the nickname it has, but it's not exactly like his. Like it's not his. Um, it's not him to blame if it goes wrong. How about that? Because she's sort of one of those people who like wants to give him a chance. Wants to say, hey, this is something new. Let's see what happens when it actually is allowed to work. Because apparently my state is not even wanting to fund it, so I don't know. Why not give it a fair chance? I mean, I know I've always said on here, oh, capitalism and free markets and stuff and low limited government, whatever the hell that means. But that's the thing about constantly challenging your beliefs. Why not? It's like the greatest question in the world. Speaking of challenging your beliefs, oh god, and capitalism and whatnot. Been reading The Road to Serfdom. I think I mentioned that a few months ago. By good old F.A. Hayek. Um, he's oh, Austrian philosopher. Yeah, Austrian philosopher. Um, who is with the whole sort of basically on the side I'm on. He was the main proponent for fighting against John Maynard Keynes in the 20th century, who John Maynard Keynes was sort of the spend money to stimulate the economy, that whole thing. That's why most countries do it now. He was the main guy fighting against that. Hayek was, and so from there he wrote The Road to Serfdom, and I think Keynes has the general theory, among other things. Um, I learned about John Maynard Keynes when I was like, I think, I was gonna say 10 right off the top of my head, but it can't be 10. It was in 2010, so I would have been what, 14, 15? Yeah, something like that. Tells you how old I am, right? Most people know how old I am anyway. Um, so right around there is when I first came across his name, and that was in Glenn Beck's book, Broke, which I've met no one else who's read it. First of all, most people when they hear the name Glenn Beck, they're like, "Oh, that crazy conspiracy theorist that I'll never listen to." It's like, slow down. You always want to listen to what people have to say. That's why I listened to the person that we were talking in class today. That's what we talked about. I had to drive her home afterwards. That's what we talked about for like 10 or 15, like almost the whole drive was all of that. And I enjoy talking about it with her because she's one of those people who like genuinely builds her own argument and genuinely listens to others' arguments. I've always really admired people for that, and now I admire her for it too. And so it was really cool of her to do that. And she even said on like as I offered to take her home, she was like, "Oh, I mean, if I'm out of your way, I don't want to do it." And I was like, "Well, if you're a half hour out of my way, it's not bad." And she's like, "It's a bit much." I'm like, "It's only a bit much if you make it a bit much," as I always say. And some people in the audience are now shaking their head sadly at me for saying that. But hey, whatever. Eat a pork chop. What else was I gonna say? Oh, before we get away from good old Hayek, I actually have to whip the book out here. I have the Road to Serfdom right next to me here. I wanted to read something. I read it in my last video that I mistakenly filmed. I want to read it out here as I'm sort of clearing this area. Don't I don't want you guys to like feel like you have to listen carefully, but it's an interesting idea. So here we go. The ideas of economists and political philosophers, both when they are right and when they are wrong, are more powerful than is commonly understood. Indeed, the world is ruled by little else. Practical men, who believe themselves to be quite exempt from any intellectual influences, are usually the slaves of some defunct economist. That is from John Maynard Keynes in the closing chapter of The General Theory. So I got his book right. Yes, The General Theory. Which is basically the general theory of economics, is essentially where that's going. And so, yeah, that's sort of economics in a nutshell. No. Um, what that is, oh, did I really mess this up? Good loud. Alright. Um, I've been meaning to read Keynes' book for a while. I just haven't been able to get around to it. I, of course, got to finish The Road to Serfdom first. I hope my teacher has it. My AP Macro teacher actually gave this book to me at first. She was like, "Hey, do you want to read this?" Because she mentioned it in class one day, and I picked it up. I started reading the first few pages, and I'm like, I can't digest any of this. And so a little bit later, I came back, and I was like, "Hey, do you still have that book?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." A month later, I came back to her. I still can't get any of this. I can't make heads or tails of any of it. And she's like, "You know what? I kind of expected that. Just work with it. Figured just slowly work your way through." And I mean, I asked her, it's like, is it bad if I kept this the whole year? And she goes, "No." She was basically fine with me keeping it the whole year as long as by the end of that year I understood the book. Like, that's an awesome teacher. And again, that's my AP Macroeconomics teacher. That's an awesome teacher. Um, Again, she had no interest of having to get the book back as long as I understood what it was saying by the end of the year, basically. It's sort of the message that I got from her. And I look at that as really, really awesome, you know. You don't have a lot of teachers like that anymore. I'll mention that to people, and they'll be like, oh, this teacher would do that, this teacher would do that, but it's all people I go to school with. So outside of my school, there aren't a lot of teachers that would do that. But then there are also still a lot of teachers that are good teachers around the country. I don't want to get anybody pissed off at me or anything. You're all good teachers. Calm down. You're both pretty. No, I'm not going to make that joke right now. That's kind of a bad joke to make with concerning teachers. Um, I've also been wanting to go back to a few teachers that I had a few years ago and sort of ask them what they think about all of this. Because obviously, some of the teachers I had in previous years, I've obviously talked politically with a few of them. And so now I can sort of expand on the political conversations that we've had. I've always enjoyed talking with teachers. You know, I kind of made a promise myself that now I can get myself to and from school easier by myself. That I would make more of an effort to talk to my teachers all the time. I will literally go in after school sometimes and just talk with them for like half an hour. I think the longest I ever did was like 2 hours. That was fun, but it was with multiple teachers, so I had to like switch around the teachers. It started off as something I would do when I'm waiting for like marching band or something, and it just evolved into this sort of thing that I would just be like, hey, if my teacher's not busy, what's up? How's life? All of that. And people always find it weird that I do that. Then again, people find everything that I do weird. But I've always found it enjoyable. I've always found it a very worthwhile way to spend my time. Um, and I've never had boring conversations. I've always learned more about what's going on at the school too. I've met teachers through it, for example. I've sort of got the inside scoop on the teacher drama. No. Um, I mean, now that I say that, sort of, but not really. Like, I'm not going to make it sound like that. But some teachers do complain about other teachers. And, they won't exactly be very closed about it. Of course, I've had certain teachers that every student complains about. Namely, my physics teacher. My physics teacher from last year. She gets picked on a lot. I never really saw an issue with her. I don't know. I really don't like when teachers get picked on when there's really no major issue. Like with that teacher, there really wasn't. I mean, I tell people today, like, they'll ask me, "Oh, how did you get such a bad grade in physics?" I'll be just like, "I was just a terrible student for that. Great teacher, I was just a terrible student." I think I got a C or a D as a final grade in that class. I was a terrible student for physics. It just didn't work with me. Like some of it made sense, but it just didn't work. Didn't work. And like people will be like, "Oh, how could you get these low grades? You're a failure and all of this." She's like, "Wow, thanks. That does wonders for my self-esteem." Just all of that. Like basically just to make them feel bad for like insulting you, BS. Um, but yeah, no, it's just like stop. I don't need that right now. Like, um, I was talking with some people who were taking classes that I took a while ago. They were like, "Oh, I'm getting A's in all these classes," and it's like, "Oh, I got a C." They're like, "How did you get a C?" Like they just flip out a little bit. And I'm just like, "It's just the way I did it." I didn't care. Like there was a lot of the school where I just didn't care. I just didn't care enough to get a good enough grade. That's how it was with geometry, for example. A lot of my math classes, I just haven't cared. You know? And that really alienates a lot of people because a lot of people are like, "Oh, school is most important. I gotta prepare for college and whatnot." I'm just like, school's not really like the most important thing. People. I made a whole speech about this. People are usually more important. Connections and whatnot. You'll hear that from your teachers a lot, by the way. If you're not in high school yet, you'll hear from your teachers that connections are everything. I'm trying to think here. People though. Just scared me something happening on my computer. My computer has a little pop-up noise, and that just went off again. It scared the heck out of me. Anyway, but yeah, no. In your future, you'll need the college education and whatnot. But you'll also need people. You can't get through this world alone. There's a very interesting quote that I want to bring up. Do you remember Ollivander from Harry Potter. What he said to Harry about Voldemort said in the movie. You can't face this whatever the world is. You can't face this war alone, Mr. Potter. He's too strong or whatever. That's kind of the same idea. You can't face the whole world alone. It's just going to obliterate you immediately. You have to have people. You have to have people that you know that you can trust. I have those people in my life. Kat, Liv, Coda, all the people online. Just I mention these people all the time because I know that I can trust them with pretty much anything. I mean, there are some people that I know that I would easily trust with my life, and I'd probably sacrifice my life for. I'm serious. And not a lot of people realize that. And then when they do, they're just sort of more in shock than anything else because they're surprised that anyone would even do that for them. So that's just sort of my whole train of thought on that. On that note, no. We're going to follow this wooden path back. Actually, I'm going to take off this little piece. And we're going to follow this back. But yeah, no, that's just how I view some people now. Some people are worth that much to me in my life. I mean, a lot of people are, and most people that are worth that much in my life wouldn't. Some people. I say some people very lightly because I do know that a lot of people would do a lot for me because I mean, me and those people have talked about it. So, I mean, it is really nice to have those people for you. How do you get those people for you? You just treat them like they should be treated with respect, fairness, kindness, etc. It's not rocket science. I mean, so many people have treated some of these people really badly that you're the only person that people sometimes have. So I always try to be that supportive person for all these people. But who gets to be the supportive person for me? You know? That's sort of the question that is left unanswered. Who gets to support the supporter? But one more thing I do want to mention before this wonderful, marvelous Monday shenanigan winds down. I mentioned Hayek and Keynes earlier, John Maynard Keynes earlier. There are two rap battles between them on YouTube. I wanted to link to them in the description. So I had so many links last time. I sort of want to keep the links going. You know, I want to have something to link to in every description of my every video, just to sort of keep you guys watching something else. You know, hopefully I will lead you guys to discover something that you haven't seen before. You know, something that you would really enjoy. Um, I, of course, have had that countless times with people. People have just sent me a link, and then I've clicked another link, and then that link sent me another link. And before you know it, I find something completely new, like Lindy Link, or, you know, Yogg's Cast, although I knew them for years. You know, I even found Rooster Teeth based off of my brother looking up Halo 3 funny videos. That's how we found it. We found Supreme Surrender all the way back in like 2005 or something ridiculous. It's amazing to me how all this starts, but it's more amazing to me how it comes back. We're gonna follow all the way back. Da 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 Batman. No, I had to. I had to do it once. But yeah, no, we're gonna follow this path all the way back, and then once we're back, we can settle down for the night. It's actually gonna take us a while to get back. Reminds me of a song called "Take Back the Night." I might have linked that in the previous video. I don't know. I have it on my tablet now, so I listen to it every morning. It's another video by Captain Sparkles. Oh, speaking of Captain Sparkles, one of his videos, Revenge, has over 150 million views. Congrats to him for making a successful video. I'm gonna run past this creeper. Da 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 da. Would have been really cool if he exploded at that point. And jump over the spider. Nope. Did that really work? Oh my god, that worked. Run, 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 Batman! Alright. Because of my armor, I don't really take any damage right now. And now I'm home, 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 home. Okay. Lay in the bed. That's dirty. Okay. So, we come to the end of another successful Minecraft Let's Play series video thing. One final thing I did want to mention, I've been thinking of doing Gears of War 3 music video. I just wanted to sort of see if anybody was still interested in seeing that. I was playing it over in my head over the past day or so, and I just sort of want to throw that out there. Comment below if you want to see that, etc., etc. And I just remembered to do this, actually. I haven't done this for a while. I'll see you guys in the next video. Let's stop, or I can do that, or I can do... Bye!